Hi, I'm Seeker Rod Pro Paul Elias. I just want to talk to you a little bit about how I got started tournament fishing. You know, back when I was in high school, I heard about Ray Scott and Bass Angler Sportsman Society, and you know, I read up a little bit about it and I said, that's me right there, I'm going to do this. You know, I think I was like 17 years old, you know, when I first heard about it. And so all the way through college, all I could think about was I was going to be a professional fisherman. And I got my 4-year degree, and the first thing I did was go offshore and go to work and get enough money to buy a bass boat. So I went, you know, I started tournament fishing, jumped in with both feet, and I had never looked back. You know, I've had a pretty good career. You know, I was able to win the Bassmasters Classic back in 1982, which really pushed my career into where I could make a living doing it. And it's kind of just been history ever since. You know, just qualifying for the Bassmasters Classic is a big deal. And, you know, I've managed to qualify for 15 of them, which I'm very proud of. But, you know, and I look back on the first one I qualified for, I managed to do that the first year that I fished bass, which was in 1979. And you know, I won it in 1982, and I won it with a technique called Kneelin N Reelin. You know, and a lot of people are familiar with that, but basically what it is, you take a crankbait, you make a long cast with a cranking rod, which is a longer rod, like a 7-foot 11-inch rod, or back then what I was using was a 7-foot rod. Eventually we got longer with them, but you take that rod and you stick it straight down in the water all the way to the reel. And that enables you to get a crankbait deeper. And you know, back then, the deepest diving crankbait on the market ran 10 or 12 feet. And I was trying to get it down to 14 feet, which I accomplished by that technique, Kneelin N Reelin. Of course, you know, back then, there wasn't a name for it, but Bob Cobb, who used to be with Bassmaster Magazine, he named it Kneelin N Reelin, and it caught on, and it's been like that ever since. And the unique thing about that was I was fishing across from a boat ramp on the Alabama River that was called the Holy Ground. So the Holy Ground boat ramp. So Kneelin N Reelin went right in with the Holy Ground boat ramp. But you know, Kneelin N Reelin caught on, and it's been a technique used ever since. Actually, it was used even before then. I'd heard about it. You know, that's bass fishing. You know, coming up with techniques and ideas and ways to accomplish catching the fish that you need to catch to win a tournament. You know, the Kneelin N Reelin thing, 1982, that's over 30, you know, almost 30 years ago. And in 2008, which would have made it, what, 16 years, or 26 years, actually, I'm fishing on Lake Falcon in a BASS tournament. I set the all-time weight record, 132 pounds and 8 ounces, and I caught most of those fish Kneelin N Reelin. You know, a technique that's 20-something years old that a lot of people weren't even doing anymore. You know, so to me, that's bass fishing, and that's innovation. You know, everything's growing. You're learning more and more about everything, and that's, you know, that's kind of how you get into specifics on rods and reels and line and everything else. So, you know, when it comes to rods, you know, naturally, I'm a professional fisherman. I want to go out there and I want to boat as many of the fish that I hook. I want to get them in the boat during competition. That's why you get into these glass rods for, you know, Seeker glass rods. You know, that, to me, that's the ultimate in any kind of reaction bait. You know, and I've always been a person throughout my career that could find a lot of fish, but I've had that little problem of losing a lot of fish. And I talked to my good friend Tommy Martin, and he turned me on to the Seeker rods and explained to me why that glass was going to help me get the fish in the boat, and everything he said made sense. So I went out and used them, and that got me on the Seeker rods. And you know, I feel it's an honor to me to be able to work for them because now I can build the blanks that I want, and the, you know, the reaction that I want in a rod for the specific way that I think it needs to go for crankbaits, which is very important to me.
When does your new budget start as far as the new year?
And you know, and with that victory in 2008, setting the BASS all-time weight record, you know, you fast forward to 2012 and the Alabama rig. You know, that to me was, you know, people, you know, it caused such a stir in the fishing industry. And again, it was just a professional angler trying to win a professional bass tournament. You know, I got turned on to that rig by Andy Poss, who is now a good friend of mine, the innovator of the Alabama rig. And I caught, you know, I almost set a new weight record for FLW with the Alabama rig. But then again, there was a technique that I realized and everybody else realized right off the bat is, hey, you need the right kind of rod for this thing, because this thing is totally different from anything we've ever done in bass fishing. So you need to, you know, somebody needs to build a rod that handles this Alabama rig properly. Here we go again with Seeker rods. We developed a glass rod to handle the Alabama rig. You know, so that, you know, all of that is what happens when you take a tournament professional and get him in action situations, and it makes him realize the equipment that I have right now is not right for what I'm doing. I need something better. So we sit down with Seeker rods, we make something better. My whole career, one of the main things that I've enjoyed about it is being with companies that gave me some leadway in their products. And, you know, in joining the Seeker Pro team and being able to sit down with this company and say, here's what I want in this rod. Here's what I want my crankbait rod to do. You know, here's what I want my Alabama rig rod to do. And be a part of the whole process that starts happening to build that rod. You know, that I like that, and you know, that's why I'm proud to be with Seeker and that company, and seeing inside that company that the people there are as excited as I am about seeing Seeker get into bass fishing rods, since they make such great saltwater rods. You know, it's only obvious that their bass fishing rods are going to be the best they can be. So being in that innovation and taking it from the ground up is something that I've always enjoyed doing with the company. You know, I've been professional fishing for a long time, you know, 30 something years, 35 years. You know, how long do I intend to do it, or how long do I think I can do it, or want to do it? You know, I want to do it right now as much as I wanted to do it when I was 25, 26 years old. So as long as I feel that way and I'm in good health, the good Lord's blessed me with good health, you know, I'm going to continue to do it. You know, I'm gonna keep as much innovation going in this industry as I can, because I love this industry. I love everything about it. And you know, one of the greatest things that I think's going on right now is seeing all these colleges getting into bass fishing, even high schools getting into bass fishing. You know, this collegiate angler program is the best thing that's ever happened for our sport. And I'm going to be behind it 100%, and I'm going to do everything I can do for it, because we have to keep America fishing. You know, and then who else besides professional fishermen can be the key spokesman for our industry? And these kids coming up in high school and college, we're getting them fired up about something, and they want to be a part of it, and I love seeing that.